All right. So, my name is Shaco. I have a Shay taste in music. I've been listening to albums all year. Some of them good, some of them bad. The total number of 2024 albums I listened to comes out to 130. So, I've got 50 lined up for my picks. I'm sorry I didn't get to every album. I know there's a lot of good stuff released this year, and I got to most of the popular stuff, at least I tried to, so yeah. Let's just jump right into it. Automatoons, Volume 7 by The Real Sully G. The Automaton album, it had to be on here somewhere. The 50th spot was a toss-up between a couple albums, but I really like this one. It has the Muppet Show theme, and it just sounds really good. So honestly, I think it deserves to be on the list, at least somewhere, because he does actually make really great covers. I ain't worried about it. We got One Republic, Artificial Paradise. I know it's silly, and I know there's some like really cheesy ass songs on this album, but I have to be honest, it's not a terrible listen. It has a few bangers, to be honest. So yeah, and there's just some good songs. Runaway and I Ain't Worried, they're actually pretty good. I'm not usually a One Republic fan, but I will give it to them for Artificial Paradise. It's not bad. It's kind of just average generic pop, but yeah, they're okay. They have a few good songs. Heaven and Hell, or Heaven X Hell by Sum 41, the as far as I know, the last Sum 41 album. It's good. It's pretty long, and it's just, it's rock. But I did like it. I did not mind it at all. I really like the covers of this song. The Painted Black cover is really good. Some good ones. So yeah, I listened to this like a really long time ago, so it's hard to... Hello, camera? Hello? I listened to this a while ago, so it's hard to like remember, but I remember it being pretty darn good. Man, I sure do love Hell. Hell is so good. So yeah, don't mind this album at all. I thought it was pretty good. We have F1 Trillion by Post Malone. I'm sorry, like it's kind of good. It's like so generic country pop, and it's like so like it's just generic country pop, but I'm sorry, like it's not too bad. I think it actually deserves to be on the top 50 for me. F1, I mean, I'm not a Post Malone fan, but I can get behind some of the ideas of F1 Trillion. Plus the album cover is kind of cool. It goes kind of hard, I'm not even gonna lie. The Midnight Feature by The Midnight Feature. I like it. Very small artist, like probably one of the smallest artists on this list, probably. I enjoyed it actually. The Borderline was a really, really great song. It like actually hooked me on, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Midnight Feature, I can get behind this. This is pretty damn good, actually. So not too much to say about that one. Just a pretty decent rock album. Gangbusters Melody Club by Caravan Palace. Caravan Palace, they do like a lot of like classic vintagey electro swing, like the electro swing that actually sounds good, not shit like Demon Dice. This is like the good stuff, like the actual, like the real stuff, the stuff that actually sounds good. And I think Gangbusters Melody Club, it's a welcome entry into the Caravan Palace discography. I like it. Evolution by Sheryl Crow. Probably not the best stuff Sheryl Crow's put out, but I mean, it doesn't sound terrible. It has a few like good songs, but if there's one thing that Sheryl Crow didn't do, it's probably evolve, which is the name of the game, I guess. But not to slander this album, it's nothing like It's nothing like her old stuff, but you know, I like it. It's pretty chill. It's pretty it's something else. I think it deserves this spot regardless because there's some songs that I actually jammed to. The Friendship Parade by My Little Romance. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Some really talented musicians are working on My Little Romance, and I think it's pretty faithful to the source material. The parodies are not bad. I'm not a huge fan of Black Parade, but I will give it to them. They do it pretty good. Like, they actually do it pretty good. I enjoy, and especially, like, it's on here because I'm so, like I just know all the My Little Pony lore and I actually like stuff like this. Otherwise it just wouldn't be on here, but we have The Beauty and the Chaos by EMF. This is like, I'm pretty sure this is the first EMF album in like 20 years or something. And it's pretty good. It's good dance music. You know, I can really get behind some of the ideas in Beauty and the Chaos. It was a pretty casual, chill listen, and I like it, honestly. I really do. I like it. But yeah, first album in a really, really long time. Probably not what everyone was expecting, but I welcome it. Animals by Faces of the Bog. So this is a full cover album of Pink Floyd's Animals, and they do it pretty good. They, like, honestly, their cover of Dogs might actually be better than the Pink Floyd version, unironically. Just by a little bit. But then Sheep is kind of where it falls off, which is why it's only at number 41. Otherwise it would have been way higher. But it's really hard to replicate the absolute, like, peakness of Sheep, because Sheep is the best Pink Floyd song ever written and recorded. So yeah, it's really hard to do a cover album of an album this good and like pull it off. But I think Faces of the Bog, I think they did it. It's really good, I find. I've had better days. Where We've Been and Where We Go From Here by Fricko. I don't know what to say about this one. It's very chill from an indie band. I think there's like 2 people. Indie band. Back when this first came out, people were like, "Oh yeah, no, this is peak album of the year material," and I can see why. It's got some really good ideas, some chill vibes, really good song on it, like Cardinal, like the final song. Probably one of my favorite songs of the year, honestly. But other than that, it's good old indie rock. Just, you know, it speaks to I guess it speaks to a certain kind of person. Depends on who listens. So I like it. I like it. That's The Spirit by The Retrograde. So The Retrograde's whole sound philosophy is they want to sound as old as possible. And I think they actually do like a really good job at doing that. It actually sounds like an album that would have come out like in the 80s and 90s area. And they sound really good. They do it really, really good. Paradise State of Mind by Foster the People. Now this is a really weird album for really weird people, but I can honestly jive with it. It's got some, it sounds unlike anything I've heard before, honestly, which is why I actually have come to appreciate it so much. Yes, it's a pretty good Foster the People album, actually. It's probably, like, it's not as peak as stuff like Torches, obviously, but I think it sounds funky. I think it has a good new sound that, you know, when an album sounds original, then that's how you know that it's gonna be good. Posthuman Next Gen by Bring Me the Horizon. This is like the first Bring Me the Horizon album I listened to in full. Honestly, it did not disappoint. I really like the experimental sound they went for. I can see why people can get behind this album. It's very creative. It's definitely different. It has some Great ideas, great sounds, unlike anything I've heard from a rock band like this, or emo rock. Dr. Dog by Dr. Dog. Dr. Dog, it's just their whole they're their whole own vibe. Dr. Dog, I just love them. You can put it on, you can just any situation Dr. Dog is good for when you're just being chillin', when you're jamming out. Dr. Dog is great. I haven't listened to too much Dr. Dog, but this is a pretty good album to get into them, honestly. Sorry, we'll check out more Dr. Dog. How many times can I say Dr. Dog? I just like Dr. Dog. It's good. The Mantras by Alien Ant Farm. This is the first Alien Ant Farm album in like a really long time. And again, it does not disappoint. Like, for them being known for a Michael Jackson cover, and that's the only song they're known for, I think their original stuff, it holds up really well, actually. There's some really great metal songs on here that, yeah, I played on repeat for quite a while when this album first came out. I listened to it, and it's just really good. Like, good Alien Ant Farm material. Like, if you're getting sick of Smooth Criminal Alien Ant Farm, you know, give Mantras a try. Post-industrial Hometown Blues by Big Special, the Bumbleclot Dog album. Now, this literally just straight up sounds like an old Chumbawamba album, which is just why it's here and why it's so high. It's like an old Chumbawamba album. It's just really good. These guys did it good. A lot of great songs, a lot of great lyrics, a lot of good. Just there's a lot to love about this album. Yeah, I've been missing that era of just good sounding music that sounds like Chumbawamba, because I miss them so much. Yeah, not saying that it's like that's the only reason. To be honest, it could be better than most of them actually, because it just is. I like it.
Not sure what's making me think of it, but I'm seeing
Haunted by Nick Lutzko. This is just like a compilation of all of his Halloween songs. Like I said, every single Halloween song on this album is better than Monster Mash, which puts it this high on the list because nobody wants to hear Monster Mash. And that's all I have to say about that. Good on you, Nick Lutzko. Love it. Ghost Stories by Blue Oyster Cult. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the last Blue Oyster Cult album that will be coming out. And I love it because it sounds like an old BOC album. Like, this is something that people that listen to the old stuff could actually really get into, I find. It just sounds classic. It sounds like classic BOC. It's just really good. This has a really good cover of We Gotta Get Out of This Place. Probably one of the best covers of that song I've heard. And it also has a song called Gun, so how can you go wrong with that? Gun is a great song. Moon Music by Coldplay. I'm sorry that it's this high, but I think Moon Music's kind of good. Like, I'm sorry. I know Coldplay's been falling off pretty hard, but I can honestly get behind a lot of Moon Music. I think it sounds good. Like, it's some of the better stuff they've put out recently, is all I can say. Even if it has a song on it that's just straight up a rainbow emoji, which is probably the worst song, to be honest. But there's some actual good ones on here. And I've heard critics, they say stuff like Instagram motivational post ad lyrics, which they're kind of right, but I don't mind it because he's a good singer and the rest of the people in that band are pretty talented. So it's Coldplay, you know, I can get behind it. Okay by Seth Fargolzia. What can I say? I'm actually just such a fanboy. There's no way it wasn't making the list. I love Hoke. Everything he puts out is just amazing in my eyes. And Hoke is pretty good. Like, I actually really like the idea. It sounds very original, I can say that. I can say that for sure. It's definitely original music. Like, if you like the weird stuff then it's good sounding weird stuff. And the list wouldn't feel right without it. So obligatory Seth mention. This won't be the last time you see him. he definitely has a spot in the top 10, I'm sure you all know. Girls Who Are Wizards by Violet Pony. This album just a straight up W. Like, it's like classic EDM. It's literally like one of the best genres of all time. It sounds like the old good stuff. It sounds like the good stuff. So I couldn't not put Girls Who Are Wizards on here because Violet Pony just does it really good. Just really good. I should have put it higher actually. But I think in the top 30 is fair enough for Girls Who Are Wizards. Plus Violet Pony, it will be mentioned again, so yeah. Revolution by Skillet. I'm sorry, Skillet absolutely rocks. Like, they're just amazing. I don't care what anyone thinks about Skillet. They're one of the best metal bands to ever do it. So Revolution makes the list. Every single song on this one was crazy. Plus, for all the albums that I've heard that has a wedding song, this one definitely has the best wedding song. There were 3 albums with wedding songs that I heard this year. This one has the best one, for sure. I've never filled the void. Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. Now, I never was a Billie Eilish fan. I probably won't be getting too much into her, but I will give this album some credit for being very imaginative, creative, you know. I can get behind some of the ideas for it. Plus it has some really good songs. Like, there are a lot, like, obviously it's like poppy, like radio songs. But over the years, she's actually gotten a lot better, so I can get behind Hit Me Hard and Soft, definitely. I Like You a Lot Getting Older by the Hard-Ons. I'm pretty sure this is another relatively small artist. Let me check, actually. Oh, no. Oh, they're pretty big, actually. 10,000 monthly listeners. But yeah, I Like You a Lot Getting Older surprised me with just how good it was. I wasn't intending to listen to it, but, you know, I just got bored one day and I was like, alright, let's just give it a try. And I was like, okay, this is kind of peak, actually. Good old rock. Good sounding, just classic sounding rock. Just love it.
And keep this all to yourself and don't eat shellfish.
We've got No Name by Jack White. So I listened to this album back when it wasn't even on Spotify. You had to, Jack White encouraged people to pirate it, so I did. And turns out it's pretty good. Some of the best stuff Jack's put out recently, honestly. Best Jack album since Icky Thump, honestly. I can really get behind No Name. It's a casual rock listen. Like, it's just good rock. If you just want good Jack White rock, just without any of the shenanigans, No Name. No Name's good. Invincible Shield by Judas Priest. Now, honestly, I didn't even know Judas Priest was still at it, honestly. They're getting pretty old now, but Invincible Shield surprised me, to be honest. It was a lot better than I thought it would be, especially for just how long Judas Priest has been going. Like, I'm not sure if it's all the original members still. It might be. I'd have to check. But I really like this album, honestly. It sounds like Judas Priest. It's good. Like, it's probably not as good as a lot of their older stuff, obviously. With most bands, you'll see that, but Invincible Shield is good. I will say that it is good and it does deserve to be on this spot. Folk Idiot by Billy Cobb. Now, Billy Cobb took a Green Day album that I do not like and made it sound good. So if I actually liked American Idiot more than I do, then Folk Idiot would probably be in the top 10. But I'm basing this just on how good Billy can cover these songs and just make them sound so original. The songs themselves, I've never been huge fans of, but Billy just does it so well that he actually got a Green Day album that I don't like in the 23rd spot. So good on you, Billy. I think your folk era is really, really good. I won't tell everyone I know. Loss of Life by MGMT. Now every time you listen to an MGMT album, it's like you're listening to a different group. But I can get behind the sound for Loss of Life. It's very slow, very like melancholy would be the word for Loss of Life. Like you just turn it on, you lay down, you close your eyes, and you just ascend to this kind of music. Like there's this one song where like, and I will sing to you every night if you want me to, and then he'll just repeat that for like 4.5 minutes, I think. But it sounds good. It's like spacey. It's a good spacey vibe. I like it, guys. MGMT will always be the goats.
Stop, 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 stomp it out. You gotta stop, stop, stop.
We got Big Feelings by Ollie's band. I saw this on Instagram. It's straight up kids music. But yeah, there's a reason it's this high on the list. It's really good. Like it is really good for kids music. I honestly just listen to this in my free time. I like it. I think we're entering a renaissance of like adults realizing that other adults have to listen to kids music all the time because of their kids. So they're like, hey, maybe our albums will sell if we make the kids music sound really good, right? Because I don't think kids really care if it sounds good or bad. They just need stuff in their ears to keep them occupied. I think Ollie's band is a pretty chill listen, and she has a really nice voice, like a really, really nice voice. So yeah, deserves a spot. Uncharted by Less Than Jake. A pretty short album. I don't know if it qualifies as an EP or not. It says album on Spotify, so I'm just going for it. I really liked it, to be honest. Good ska rock. I never heard of Less Than Jake, or I never really got into them before I listened to this album, but it surprised me with just how upbeat and great it sounds. So yeah, good ska group. Just great little listen. Just a little 20-minute listen if you're in the mood. Supercharged by The Offspring. You already know The Offspring was making this list. Every single one of their albums is a bibbity banger. So Supercharged, it's not as good as their other stuff. Certainly not. It's a pretty short album. But it's good. Has a lot of really great high energy songs. That's the whole idea of Supercharged. Let's make a high energy album that people can actually, like, you know, our fans, like our much more dedicated fans that listen to all the old stuff, they probably want this kind of era of Offspring back. So they're like, yeah, we'll give the fans what they want. Just good old punk rock, high energy. I can get behind Supercharged, most definitely. It's probably better than Let the Bad Times Roll by a little bit. Well, they're about the same, actually. It was a really good album. Both of them are good. People hate them, but I love them. And I don't care, so yeah. Coyote, You're My Star by Dana and Alden. There's not much to say about this album. I discovered them through like a meme, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'll just give them a try. And Coyote, You're My Star turned out to be a very chill, very nice listen. Just music to put you in a good mood. Like you just listen to some of these songs on Coyote, and you just feel good. Like there's no bad sounding tracks for sure. Like it's a nice listen. Not much else to say. Flight B749, no, B741, not 9. B741 by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So yeah, I mean, they put out an album like every year, so I mean, it's not surprising that they make the list, and they're good. Honestly, I've listened to a few Gizzard albums. This might actually be my favorite one that I've listened to so far. I really like Flight B741. It's good rock, and in my opinion, like I said, one of their better albums. So definitely deserves the 17th spot in my opinion. When Pigs Fly, yada yada. Awesome. Luck and Strange by David Gilmour. Obviously, this had to make it. Everything Pink Floyd makes it onto the list. So when David Gilmour said that this is his best album since Dark Side of the Moon, he was not trolling. This is absolutely his best album since Dark Side of the Moon. There is no doubt. It actually feels like I'm listening to a Pink Floyd album, like in the year 2024. So if you're missing that old Pink Floyd sound, don't listen to Dark Side Redux. Listen to this one instead. Like, I'm sorry, Roger Waters. This one's it's just better. It's just better. It's just better. Like, it's just straight up better. So yeah.
Lana, 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 what you doing? What you doing?
Flames of Change by Smooth McGroove. So you probably know Smooth McGroove from his old acapellas on YouTube. Yeah. Apparently he does acoustic guitar original songs, and they're probably the best stuff that he's made so far. Like, as good as his acapellas are, Flames of Change is one of the best albums of the year, honestly. And one of his, probably my favorite thing that Smooth has put out so far in like the 10 years he's been active making music. Flames of Change takes the cake, absolutely. It's an incredible album, just such a chill vibe. Very cozy vibe, you can tell from the guitar on fire. Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator. I'm not much of a rap fan, but this might actually be one of the best rap albums that I've heard in recent times. I really like what Tyler, the Creator goes for on this album, like, truly. He does it really, really good. A lot of really great songs in this album. The whole album is just unequivocally Tyler. Like, it's his whole thing. I heart Chromacopia. Yeah, this album's pretty good. It's very inappropriate, which I guess is some people's thing. Like, you know, they like when their music is, you know, vulgar. Not me personally. I mean, I literally put a kids album, like, not 5 places ago, so... But yeah, the music sounds good. He's a great producer, great singer, great everything, great performer. Tyler just does it great, excluding Sticky. Hey, I will not take Sticky slander in this chat. No sorry, Bob. We got Dragonborn by Jairus Johnson. When the darkness comes and there's nowhere you can... I'm sorry, no. I don't care what anyone thinks of that song. It's really good. Like, it's actually really good. So, Jairus Johnson absolutely deserves the 13th spot because every single song on this album is just a through and through banger. He does metal, like, it's like this fantasy-esque metal, and it's good. Like, I'm sorry. Jairus Johnson gets a lot of flack for being, like, cringy, but I honestly just don't care. Like, seriously. This album is really good. If you like metal, I think you should give Jairus Johnson a fair chance, honestly.
7 is for hurting my mother's feelings.
Black Hound by Billy Cobb. I think this is the highest rated country album on this list, and Billy Cobb does not disappoint. I think this is Billy Cobb's best album. I think it is. And he's come up with quite a few now. And his whole country folk like era of songs genuinely is my favorite from him. Billy Cobb does really well on this album. Every single song is just a great listen with great ideas. It's like every song is their own story. And just a good old country vibe that sounds good. Like, I feel like if you made country music sound this good, people wouldn't give it as much flack as they do, to be honest.
They will come on pillow jets.
Evolve by Fish. This is another album that people knock quite a lot. They say, "Oh, yeah, no, their previous stuff is so much better. Fish has gone so down." But I haven't heard any of the previous Fish albums, and honestly, I don't really care to compare it to their old ones because I just like Evolve, and I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to keep the idea in my mind that Evolve is a good album and it sounds good and people are just being over dramatic about it. Dark Matter by Pearl Jam. So this is probably one of the ugliest album covers on this list, but I will give it to Pearl Jam for making an album that sounds like like Pearl Jam, and Pearl Jam just sounds really good. They've had a very consistent streak of making really good music, really good grunge rock music, and Dark Matter is a welcome entry into the Pearl Jam universe. Warp Speed Warriors by Dragon Force, another just hard and heavy Dragon Force album. As far as I know, this is about like video games and stuff. Like there's a Zelda song on here and a Taylor Swift cover. They made Taylor Swift sound good. What can I say? Like, what can I say? They did it. They actually did it. Yeah, Warp Speed Warriors came out this year, and it's just amazing Dragon Force. Like, good peak Dragon Force. I honestly think this is the best album. Like, I've listened to Inhuman Rampage, Sonic Firestorm. What's that one that just came out? Extreme Power Metal, yeah. I listened to that too, and honestly, I think Warp Speed Warriors might be my favorite from them. It's just it's pretty quirky in a good way, and I love it. The Wildest Dreams cover is amazing. It's just a perfect way to end off the album, for sure.
Life cannot be written.
The Avett Brothers by the Avett Brothers. There's not much I can really say about this album. It just reminds me of better times. Like, it deserves to be in the top 10 because of how nostalgic it sounds. And it's absolutely peak. Good old folk music, if you're into that kind of thing. I think Avett Brothers is the best. They do it good. Really good. Just reminds me of better times, honestly. Saviors by Green Day. This album gets a lot of hate as far as I can tell. I don't know why. It's probably some of the best Green Day material in years. Like, since what's it called? One of those albums, I don't know. Since before the trilogy. Saviors sounds like good old Green Day, like good old classic Green Day. It's good. Like real, actually. Like I watched Brad Taste in Music's worst songs of the year. He put One-Eyed Bastard on there. Like, okay, I've heard worse. You can put One-Eyed Bastard on the list, but omit all the Ice Spice songs? Like, okay, Brad. I don't think so. I think you might be a little bit yeah. No, this album's really good. Like, genuinely. Like, hate on Green Day all you want. This is one of their best albums, hands down. Yeah, since like Nimrod. Yeah, probably. So yeah, Brad was not cooking with that pick. One-Eyed Bastard is not one of the worst songs of the year. Absolutely not. It's very good. Along with all the other songs on this album.
Thanks for joining us today for all our tropical fun.
These Nuts by Ninja Sex Party. Now, this is unequivocally one of the best comedy albums I've ever listened to. And probably my favorite Ninja Sex Party album to date. Absolutely incredible. I was hooked the first time I listened to it. Just an excellence in comedy music. Like, it's rare you'll have an album where I'm listening to the music and I'm actually laughing at how funny the lyrics are. Like, they just know how to get it done, honestly. So yeah, These Nuts is amazing. It's just incredible. I really like it. Something Strange Up the Mountain by The Black Ice Machine. When I first listened to this album, I honestly could not get enough. So they say that their main influence is Black Country New Road. You can definitely hear the influence there. Is it Black Country New Road? That's the right one, right? I don't want to be embarrassed. Yeah, it is. Sounds just like Like, they got their own sound. Like, the singer for this band. Oh my god. One of the best. Like, honestly, one of the best. Like, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure the Black Ice Machine has actually split up since releasing this album, which really sucks because if they continued going, I honestly think they could be superstars someday, because this is one of, if not the best indie album, like the first album from an indie band that I've ever heard. Definitely. Every single song is an absolute bop. Great themes, great, just outstanding lyrics, actually. Like, they're all pretty young too, as far as I know, and holy smokes, man. Just insane.
I was a wild kid, used to smile big, lit up the room every
Exploitopia by That Handsome Devil. What can I say? It's That Handsome Devil. Like, their music is unmatched. It's seriously such an amazing sound, and every That Handsome Devil album is just their own experience in and of itself. Just every song. It's grungy, it's great, it's catchy. I don't know what else to say about it, honestly. A lot of their new material, people aren't as attached to their new stuff as I am, but honestly, I think it's their second best album next to Parents of Sellouts, most definitely. Just incredible.
Mental collapse and crippling anxieties. Hey man, it's alright.
Starbomb Boom, Rise of Lyrics. Now, people give this album so much hate. I don't understand why. It's so good. Like, it's the best album they've put out since the first Starbomb album. They have not only kept their level of quality, but they have evolved a lot in their producing and lyrics and pretty much everything all around. It's just amazing. And they actually gave Ninja Brian a voice for like that like never happens. This album was absolutely peak. Like, I've seen people say stuff like, oh no, Starbomb Boom, oh what a drop in quality. And I'm like, oh, like, listen to this and then listen to the Triforce right after. Like, I don't think you'll be saying that. Or maybe not the Triforce. The Triforce is actually marginally better than Player Select. And Player Select's not even bad. Like, Starbomb they just do it good. Like, they're just hating to hate. They probably got some kind of grudge against them or something. Like, I just don't get it. Easily top 3 material. Absolutely deserves to be the 3rd spot. First Starbomb album in quite a long time too, like 5 years. So yeah.
When I'm on a roll and it's good.
Dragon House by Multibird. You all knew it was coming. This is just one of my favorite albums of all time. It's probably one of my most listened to albums now. I love Multibird. Like, it's on the hat. Hold on. I love Multibird a lot. They're the best band. They are the best band. Absolutely, 100% deserve the 2nd spot. And they were gonna get the 1st spot. They were gonna get Album of the Year, but that was until I listened to what my pick for Album of the Year is. So yeah. Before we get into the number 1 album, which a lot of you already know, but if you're watching on YouTube or something, like by some chance and you don't know, we're gonna do a little lightning round of bonus awards, because there's some albums that didn't make the cut, but I still want to give some attention to anyway. So a little bit of bonus awards real quick. Here we have my favorite single of the year. The best single to come out in 2024. You already know what's coming. Polka Mania by Weird Al Yankovic.
Players gonna play, and the haters gonna hate.
This is the best single of 2024. It's the best song of the year. It's absolutely hands down. There is no contest. It's the first Weird Al song in like 10 years now. Like, come on. And it's so good. Like, it's a banger. Like, he still has not lost his touch, because Weird Al is still consistently making music. Which really gets me thinking, like, Weird Al should like come out with a last hurrah album, because when you think about it, Mandatory Fun is such like an awkward place to end up. like end off on, because of how much he's been in the music scene in the past 10 years. Like, he could go sit down and record a new album, and it could be just as good as all the other ones, if not as better, because Weird Al still has it, obviously. Weird Al is still in touch with the comedy scene, and his performance concerts are just peak. Polkamania deserves to be the best single of this year. Absolutely. If Weird Al made a new album, yeah. Oh my god, I would be so happy. Now we have the award for Best EP to come out this year. Best Extended Play. So it's only a 4-song little record. Don't make fun of me for this one. Ray Tracer by the Fat Rat. I know it's like funny YouTube background music, but it's actually really good. Like, Fat Rat, I know he's known for stuff like funny Fat Rat Unity, but oh my god, like, sit down for 10 minutes and just listen to Ray Tracer. It's probably the best record he's put out so far, honestly, in my opinion. Yeah, I listened to this a lot. Like, Ray Tracer, like all 4 songs actually. Let me just... Ray Tracer, PS Whispers, and Ray Tracer Instrumental. They're like the 4 best Fat Rat songs. What can I say? This absolutely deserved to be number 1 EP of the year. Absolutely. For Best Album Cover, I went with Smile by Porter Robinson. I found the album to be a little bit underwhelming, but I looked at the album cover and I thought it's just like, usually I'm more biased towards artworks and like painted album covers because I honestly think that's how it should be done, but the way the light is bouncing off the balloon and the way it's like cramped into a square and just the cute little face, I think it all comes together really well. Something about this cover just, it makes me smile, like the name. Like, I like it. I think it is the best album cover of the year. It's really cute, really fun. I love it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it's like, it looks like an actual photograph too of an actual balloon, which is pretty cool. Very original, I gotta say. For the award for Best Movie Soundtrack, you already know. It's The Wild Robot.
Oh my darling, if you try.
I cried like 4 times watching this movie, and that's in part due to the soundtrack, because it is absolutely beautiful and like a masterclass in just emotional music. It's such an emotional movie, and the soundtrack to boot, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And one of the best movies, the best DreamWorks movie, I think. Like, I know they came out with bangers like Shrek 2 and stuff, but if you haven't seen The Wild Robot, pretty please go watch it. You won't regret it. It's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. The award for Best Video Game Soundtrack. Now, I didn't actually play many video games this year, so it's slim pickings, but I gotta give it to Pizza Tower bonus tracks. Mr. Sauceman, Klasky Jito, and Post Elvis, they just go hard as always. And I can get behind a good Pizza Tower because the original Pizza Tower soundtrack was probably the best of 2023. So let's give them more of a dub in this year. Most disappointing album of the year. So an album that had a lot of hype around it. Like, it generated a lot of hype and turned out to be kind of butt. Has to go to From Zero. Who would have thought? Yeah, no, Linkin Park absolutely did not cook with this one. No siree, Bob. No, they did not. This is absolutely cheeks. I think the album kind of sucks. It has a few good songs, and then the others are like the worst Linkin Park songs literally ever. So, yeah, not a great comeback from them. I think they should have just stopped. Like, they should have just stopped, honestly. Like, no. The load ass cover. No, the album cover absolutely sucks. Like, I'm sorry. But it's not worse than the album cover coming up, because the next award is for the worst album cover of the year. So yeah, this was a really hard pick. Like, I was tossing up like 5 different albums for worst album cover. I'm just kidding. It's Brat. It's fucking Brat. Brat is the worst album cover ever. Like, there's nothing cool or quirky about it. It's just straight up shit. Like, I'm sorry. Brat is the worst album cover ever. It, like, AI art would actually have more artistic value than Brat does. Brat has no redeeming qualities. I actually don't even want to look at it any longer. Like, no, it's ugly. Seriously, it's so gross. Now we have the worst album of the year. My pick for the worst album of the year. So, originally, this was going to go to Taylor Swift, because I listened to Tortured Poets Apartment, and I know, like, there's this whole stigma, like, oh, Taylor Swift bad, Taylor Swift, cringe. But no, I've listened to all the Taylor Swift albums, sadly, and I can say without a doubt that Tortured Poets Apartment is her worst one. And it was gonna be in the spot. But that was until I listened to Y2K by Ice Spice. I'm not even gonna show that album cover, actually, because I don't think I can. Yeah, this album is so bad I actually started to cry. It's absolutely embarrassing of an album. It's very embarrassing. I actually don't know why we keep giving Ice Spice any attention, because it's anti-music. It sounds terrible. It genuinely sounds terrible. And she made her way into Fortnite somehow. With classics such as Fat Butt, Bitch I'm Packin', BB Belt, and Think You the Shit? Fart. Classic songs like those. Yeah, no, Ice Spice is terrible. Very bad. That album sucks. That album sucks. Yeah, not good. Anyway, it is time for Album of the Year. Oh, shit, no, I hit the wrong button. Album of the Year. Originally, this was gonna go to Dragon House. But it wouldn't feel right if I snubbed this one, because I genuinely think it deserves the top spot. So if you went back in time and told my former self back in January that my favorite album of the year would be a furry, softcore, lewd album with sexual themes, I probably would have believed you, because I'm a weird freak. Album of the year is Monarch of Monsters by Violet Pony. It's actually one of the best albums I've ever listened to be honest. I thought I would hate it, but I read the accompanying book, and I listened to the album like 20 times. It's Violet Pony's best album, by far. Probably one of the best albums I've ever listened to. It really just has a way of hooking you in to its story, and yeah, I got to the final song and I was actually just crying, like seriously. Like there was tears on my face. I genuinely don't know what else to say about Monarch of Monsters. Like I'm in part surprised that this album was able to beat out Dragon House, because I didn't think anything could. But after listening to this, it's a life-changing experience, actually. Genuinely life-changing. Like, I feel like a different person after experiencing Monarch of Monsters. And I'm not sure if I can show that album cover either, actually. I might be able to. Actually, I probably can. It's the Ice Spice one I'm worried about. It's literally just Ice Spice's bare booty cheeks. So yeah, I don't know where else to go from here. That's my top 50 albums of 2024, and I'm looking forward to a good 2025. So this is, unfortunately, going to be my last stream of the year. But I will be back in 2025 for more original content for you guys. I hope everybody enjoyed today's little session, little recap on the music this year. Cheers. Doink. Peace out, guys.